Today we are going to discuss about the gradient theory. What is gradient theory in developmental biology? Okay. So, what is a gradient? That is a proportional rise and fall of certain factors in the embryo. The interaction of those factors brings about the normal development. Factors are distributed in certain proportions in the embryo, which rise at one end, falls at the other end. The gradient controls normal development. So if we are looking into an embryo, in embryo, the development of that embryo into the full organism that is controlled by certain chemicals. That chemicals can be called as factors. The distribution of these factors that will be high in some regions and that will be less in another region. So in this manner, you can call it as a gradient. The distribution of these chemicals or these factors, they are actually proteins. The distribution of these chemicals are only responsible for the development of that embryo into the full organism or the development of various structures in that embryo. As an example, if you are looking into this figure, suppose it is the anterior end of the embryo and it is a posterior end of the embryo. Look, if you are looking into the anterior end, you can see the concentration of hunchback and the concentration of bicoid. These are two proteins. Suppose these are two proteins. The concentration of these factors are high in the anterior portion, whereas the concentration of that is very lesser in the posterior portion. In the same manner, if you are looking into the caudal and nanos mRNA or caudal proteins and nanos, the concentration of these two factors that are high in the posterior end, whereas the concentration of that factors are lesser in the anterior end. As an example only. So, these chemical substances can be called as factors. If you are looking their concentration that is higher at one end and their concentration is lesser at another end. In between them, for example, at the middle portion of the embryo, the concentration of all these chemicals that is in a moderate amount, isn't it? So, this is the gradient and this can be called as the gradient theory. Okay, so there are two types of gradient theory. First one is single gradient theory or metabolic axial gradient theory, sir, and the second one that is double gradient theory. So, here we are going to discuss about both the single gradient theory and about the double gradient theory. So first of all, we are going to discuss about the single gradient theory or metabolic axial gradient theory. That is the contribution of C.M. Child. So now look, development and morphogenesis are controlled by a single factor known as single gradient or metabolic axial gradient. In this theory, the scientist is telling that all the development and morphogenesis, everything that is controlled with the help of a single factor only. And oxidative metabolism is higher at the animal pole and it decreases towards the vegetal pole along the median axis. What they are telling the concentration of this chemical's concentration that will be higher in the animal pole and its concentration will be lesser in vegetal pole. So its concentration is decreasing from the animal pole towards the vegetal pole. You know very well about animal pole and vegetal pole. Okay, so just look into this figure. It is the animal pole and it is a vegetal pole. What is animal pole and vegetal pole in an embryo? So a blastula embryo is divided into two hemispheres. There is animal pole and the vegetal pole. What is the peculiarity of the animal pole? In animal pole, the animal pole will be containing small cells and they will be dividing very rapidly. As compared to the vegetal pole, the vegetal pole will be containing only slowly dividing cells. The animal pole draws its name from its liveliness related to the slowly developing vegetal pole. So it is clear what is animal pole and what is vegetal pole. This uppermost portion can be called as animal pole and the bottom portion that can be called as vegetal pole. Okay. So the development of head due to the high metabolic rate in the animal pole and the development of tail that is due to the low metabolic rate in the vegetal pole. So the factors, the factor or the gradient or the chemical that is higher in the animal pole and its concentration is getting decreased towards the vegetal pole. That is the single gradient theory or metabolic axial gradient theory. So what is double gradient theory then? Double gradient theory, the scientists behind double gradient theory, that is Runstrom and Hostadius. What they are telling, animal gradients are animal gradients are there and vegetal gradients are there. In previous thing, that is in single gradient theory, we were talking about a single type of gradient only that was more in the animal pole and it was getting reduced towards the vegetal pole. Whereas in the double gradient theory, there is animal gradient is there and vegetal gradient. Both these gradients or both these chemicals are present in an embryo. Or as an example, we are taking sea urchin as an example. So this is an experimental organism. So all the experiments were conducted in this organism. So there is animal gradient and vegetal gradient is existing in sea urchin egg. Suppose, in the previous one, the concentration of that chemicals were maximum in the animal pole and they were decreasing towards the vegetal pole. Whereas in this case, animal gradients decreases towards the vegetal pole and vegetal gradients decreases towards the animal pole. Once again, animal gradients will be maximum in the animal pole and that will be decreasing towards the vegetal pole, whereas the vegetal gradients will be maximum in the vegetal pole and that will be decreasing towards the animal pole. So there are two gradients. In the previous case, there were only one gradient. That gradient was maximum in the animal pole and it was getting decreased towards the vegetal pole. So the thing that is explained by using Janus Green towards the end of this slide, we have included that experiment also. So the scientists are telling that normal development depends on the presence of both the gradients and equilibrium between them. So both the gradients are required. Both animal gradients are required. Both animal gradient and vegetal gradients are required. In addition to that, the equilibrium between them, that is also required for the development of the organism into its full manner. So for that, we have conducted they have conducted several experiments. The first experiment is isolation and recombination of blastomeres. One more experiment is there, that is by using physiochemical method. In this method only we are using that Janus Green, that is a blue colored dye, right? Okay. So what about the isolation and recombination of blastomeres? How we can do the experiment? So we are going, in isolation and recombination of blastomeres, they have conducted 3 experiments in sea urchin. That's we are going to discuss now. So the same scientists Rundstrom and Hostadius, they have conducted this experiment in sea urchin and there are 3 experiments. So the first one. So before that, we can just discuss about the mode of division in sea urchin. So this is the vegetal pole and this is the animal pole. This is the division. First division is meridional. The second division is also meridional. After the first division, you will be getting 2 cells. After the second division, you will be getting 4 cells. And the third cleavage, the third cleavage is equatorial. With the help of this third cleavage, you will be getting what? We will be getting 8 cells. In this manner, the division continues. Okay. So, what is the first one? It is an overview of sea urchin gastrulation. After all these events, we have to get what? The Pluteus larvae. That is the result of all these events. So we are conducting all this experiment to study whether we are getting the Pluteus larvae or not. Okay. Be with me carefully. In the first experiment, what they have done? They have separated blastomeres after second cleavage. After second cleavage, they were separating the blastomere. After second cleavage means, look here, it is a first cleavage. Here it is a first cleavage. Then it is a second cleavage. This blue colored portion, that is an animal portion. So this will be containing more, in this blue colored portion, that will be containing more animal gradient. And this portion, that is a vegetal pole, that will be containing more vegetal gradient or those factors. In first cleavage, what you are getting? You are getting 2 cells. In both of the cells, equal amount of, there will be 2 blastomeres. In the first blastomere, if you are observing, you can see animal pole or animal gradients are there and vegetal gradients are there. After the second cleavage, you are getting 4 cells, 1, 2, 3 and 4. In all those 4 cells, if you are looking, you can see both animal gradient and vegetal gradients are present. So they have separated the blastomeres after second cleavage. Then as a result, all the 4 blastomeres were developed into normal larvae. So this is the cell. So after the second cleavage, you will be getting 4 blastomeres. Normally these 4 blastomere will be developing into a normal Pluteus larva. That is a normal fate of this structure. But even though we were separating all these 4 cells, even after we were separating these 4 cells, they were developed into the entire structure. So Pluti developed from single cells of 4 cells embryo. So from all these 4 cells, the larvae, full structure of larvae, both animalized structure and vegetalized structure, both animal pole structures and vegetal pole structures were developed from all these 4 embryo. Why it is so? This is because first 2 cleavages are meridional and produces 4 equal blastomeres. The first two cleavages are meridional. As a result, we are getting 4 equal blastomeres, isn't it? All the blastomeres were containing both animal pole structures, both animal gradient and vegetal gradient. So what is the reason for that? All the blastomeres received equal amount of animal pole material and vegetal pole material. So for the development of an embryo, we require, or the development of an embryo require both animal gradient and vegetal gradient. If a single cell is getting, if a blastomere is getting both animal gradient and vegetal gradient, then that cell will be developing into its full manner, into the full structure. So one thing is clear. So we have to confirm this. Is the thing is very clear or not? We have to confirm this. So we are doing the thing by using another experiment. So this is experiment 2. What is experiment 2? After third cleavage, we know the third cleavage is equatorial. After the third cleavage, okay, here it will be the cleavage. Here it was the first cleavage. Here it is a second cleavage. Now it is a third cleavage. After third cleavage, you are getting 8 cell. In animal half, only the animal gradient will be present here. Since the cleavage is in this manner, so in the animal half, if you are looking, only animal structures or animal gradient will be present here, where there will be very little amount of vegetal gradient, isn't it? Whereas in the vegetal half, since it is dividing in this manner, if you are looking into the vegetal gradient, you will be getting the chemical in this manner in the vegetal half. The vegetal gradient will be maximum here, whereas the animal gradient will be lesser. So what will happen? After the third cleavage, that means after getting 8 blastomeres, at this stage, the egg is cut into animal half and vegetal half. So we are removing it into animal half and vegetal half. We are separating, it is in this manner, so we are cutting into animal half and vegetal half. Then we are observing what is happening. No development of normal larvae. There weren't the development of normal larvae. Instead, defective embryos were formed. And from the animal pole, animalized embryo structures. Animalized embryo structures means normally what will be present in the animal portion. That is what does that means? What will be normally produced from the upper portion. That means contains animal structures only. Ectodermal vesicles were there and with the covering of cilia that were only present in that embryo, in that larvae. So animal pole was getting developed into animalized embryo. In the same manner, vegetal pole. Vegetal half developed into vegetalized embryo. That means that was containing only vegetal pole structures. What was present there? Large gut without mouth and few spicules were only present in the vegetal half. So what is the result? Suppose this is that experiment. Okay, we are cutting it into animal pole and vegetal pole. We were separating that into animal pole. So animal pole was separated. Then vegetal pole was also separated. So what is happening? From animal pole, you are getting a particular structure which is containing only animalized structures. You can see here. From the vegetal pole, if you are looking, you are getting a structure which is containing vegetalized structures only. This is that experiment. Okay. So what is the reason? Of course, the reason is very clear from this, in the previous experiment, when we were separating the cells, when we were separating these 4 cells, all these cells were containing animal material and vegetal material. Animal gradient and vegetal gradient were present here, right? But when we are separating it in this manner, we are cutting it in this manner. So animal half will be containing only animal structures, animal gradient, and vegetal half will be containing only vegetal gradient. That is the result. So we can read the reason. Due to the absence of animal gradient in the vegetal half and vegetal gradient in the animal half. So if there is both animal gradient and vegetal gradient, then only the embryo will be developing into its full manner, into its into the Pluteus larvae, or its full structure will be developed only if there is the presence of both animal gradient and vegetal gradient. So if animal gradient only present in animal pole, then it will not be developed into the full embryo. For animal pole structures also, they requires what? For developing into the full embryo, that cell requires both the animal gradient and vegetal gradient and the equilibrium between them, as we have already told. I think it's clear. So we have one more experiment, that is experiment number 3. In 64 cell stage, after first division, 2 cells will be produced, then it will be 4, then next division 8, then 16, 32, and after 64 cell stage. In 64 cell stage, if you are observing, the embryo has 3 type of blastomeres, which are the micromeres will be there, macromeres will be there, and mesomeres will be there. and they will be arranged in 5 tiers. Okay, here it is that structure. They will be arranged in 5 tiers. Which are they? 2 tiers of mesomeres in animal pole, that can be called as AN1 and AN2. So this is the two tiers of mesomeres that is present in animal pole. So animal gradient will be present here. Keep in mind that can be named as AN1 and AN2. 2 tiers of macromeres in vegetal pole. Vegetal pole will be vegetal pole will be containing vegetal pole gradient only. That can be named as which one and which two. So if you are looking here, you can see which one and which two. It is in vegetal pole. Okay, then what is next? One tier of micromere in vegetal pole. This is the micromere. So what is happening? What is the experiment? Different tiers were isolated and allowed to develop separately in combinations. So we are doing the experiment. So we were separating the AN1. What is AN1? Keep in mind, AN1 is the structure that is present in the animal pole. So animal gradient will be only present there. So that was getting developed into animalized embryo only, since it is containing only animal pole structures. Then AN2, AN2 of course that is containing only animal gradient. AN2 will be also developing into animalized embryo. What is animalized embryo? Embryo will be containing only the structures what normally present in the animal region. Animal region means animal pole region. Okay. So which 2 and which 3, which 1 and which 2, normally that is producing vegetalized embryo only, since it is only containing vegetal gradient. Micromeres, from micromeres, mesenchyme cells were only getting formed. Then AN1 and micromere. What is micromere? Micromeres are the structure which is present in the vegetal pole. AN1 that is present in the animal pole. When the combination of AN1 and micromeres were allowed to develop, normal larvae was getting formed. What we can infer? Yeah, that contains both the animal gradient and vegetal gradient. That's all. Then when we were allowed to develop the combination of AN2 and micromeres. What is AN2? That contains animal gradient. Micromeres that contains vegetal gradient. Normal larvae was getting formed. Which one and micromeres both contains vegetal gradient only. Vegetalized embryo only was getting produced. Which 2 and micromeres, then vegetalized embryo was only getting produced. AN1, AN2, which one and micromeres, normal larvae, because it contains both the animal gradient and vegetal gradient. Then AN1, AN2, which one and which 2, that was also producing normal larvae because it contains both the animal gradient and vegetal gradient. So it is clear that both the animal gradient and vegetal gradient are necessary for normal development. The first experiment is over. From all these experiment, one thing is very clear. There occurs two gradient. Both animal gradient is there and vegetal gradient is there, and the combination of these two gradient is required for the normal development of larvae. So next of all we will be discussing about the physiochemical experiment that can be discussed later in the next session. Okay, thank you.